The stunning Sapphire Coast is a mecca for holiday makers, especially anglers, and I love fishing here. I've come to Narooma today to fish offshore around Montague Island in search of big kingfish. But the weather has changed earlier than expected, and the notorious Narooma Coastal Bar is as angry as ever and too dangerous to cross. Being a seasoned offshore fisherman, I know how easily things can go wrong trying to cross a bar in these conditions. Unfortunately, not everyone has that kind of experience, and some boaters don't do the required preparation and consideration to understand the danger of taking on a bar in bad seas. If they're lucky, they'll encounter local maritime officer Shane Mertag.
It is too dangerous for an open runabout. Do not cross the bar.
Unfortunately, not everyone can get this life-saving advice, and they take on the bar, risking their lives and the lives of others on board. Crossing coastal bars can be very dangerous. It's important to know your limits and the limits of your vessel.
I feel like you just probably saved someone.
Yeah, well, yeah, potentially. If that boat crossed this bar in this condition, mate, I believe, yeah, that wasn't safe for him to cross the bar.
It's not a surfboard. You tip over, you're losing your fishing gear, right? It's embarrassment and potentially your life, right?
Yeah, that's true.
This is a classic scenario. You come down from Canberra, Sydney, the kingies are on, you know, you're in your cabin early in the morning, you're putting your gear in the boat.
Yeah.
You're committed, you're invested, you've got your mates on board, everyone's ready to go fishing.
Yeah.
Right? But there's a few things we should be doing first,
That's
right?
true, and the first thing you should be doing is you should be checking the weather forecast.
Yeah.
The second thing you should be doing is you should be checking the tide.
Yeah.
Because Narooma Bar is notorious on the outgoing tide that the waves will become a lot more energetic. The other thing that you've got to make sure is you check your life jackets. Even when it's calm, it's important, and also it's law that you wear a life jacket and everybody on board wears a life jacket because you're the skipper and you're responsible.
What could have those guys done better, mate?
Well, what they could have done, they could have come and checked the conditions from the shore.
Yeah.
They could have come here and had a look, or gone up to Marine Rescue, and they would have been able to see the overall picture of what the ocean's doing today.
It's ritual for me, I know it's ritual for you. Just come out here and have a look, right?
That's right.
In 15 minutes, half an hour, because look, when we first got here, there was a lull.
There was.
It looked safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the waves built up out the front, and I thought, oh, that's easy, I'll duck around the corner.
Yeah.
What happened next?
But ducking around the corner, you can often get a large wave that'll come out of, and it will just...
Would have swamped your boat.
Yeah, look, today the bar is not safe to cross in an open runabout.
Yeah.
The waves are just too energetic, they're too big, and you can't see them from down here.
Yeah.
You've got to see them from over above.
It's great that you're here helping people. You're not always here, so people have to be aware of this.
Yeah.
And if in doubt...
If in doubt, don't go out.
The inlet's fantastic, and there's other options, right?
There are. Well, you've got the Wagga Inlet, you've got Turos, which is great estuary fishing, and you've always got Bermagui.
Yeah, safe harbour, a much safer harbour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
North-facing harbour is not affected by the swell as much.
Now, just to remind you of how dangerous coastal bars can be, here are some horrendous attempts from previous years at Narooma. The outcome can be fatal, so always play it safe. Observe how other vessels negotiate coastal bars, and if possible, try crossing a bar as many times as you can with an experienced local skipper.
Well, have a look at this. Half an hour down the road, Bermagui, and it's looking a lot safer, right? Why is that, mate?
Well, the reason is because firstly it's not a bar and it's a harbour, so the water doesn't go from the deep to the shallow quite as aggressively, so the waves are not as big.
Yeah, right.
So, and it's north facing.
Yeah, okay. So a lot safer here to exit. We still want to come down and have a peek, right?
100%.
Yeah, because we do get the odd one standing up, so still come down and have a look and make sure it's safe.
Yeah.
What else do you need before you head out?
So obviously you need your life jackets. Most importantly, make sure they're appropriate to the conditions that you're boating in, and also make sure that they're in service and in good condition. Doesn't matter where you're boating or when you're boating, always check the weather. You've got to be able to know what's coming your way after you're having your fishing when you're trying to come back in.
And that swell picks up, you could have trouble coming back in.
You could.
Great advice, mate. We plan, prepare and predict. It's going to help keep you safe and make your job a lot easier.
It will.
Thanks for your time, Shane.
Thank you.
No fish is worth a life. Always take the safest approach and always wear your life jacket, make sure it's been serviced and do your pre-wear check. Visit lifejacketwearit.com.au for more tips on how to stay safe on the water. Bermagui locals are proud of the town's history, but they're also forging ahead. making Bermagui more accessible and appealing for families and tourists, not just the fishos. The perfect example of this positive change is an old town favourite reborn, the Bermagui Beach Hotel.
Luke, you've brought something special here to Burmy, I think, mate. Tell me what you've done with the Burmy Beach Hotel.
Cheers. Look, it's been a massive project and undertaking a tired old venue and turning it into something for everyone, for the whole town and visitors alike to utilise and enjoy.
You're finally doing that view justice where you can look out over Horseshoe Bay, watch the boats coming in and out. I think you've done it justice, mate. I'm seeing families come in here, it's great food.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a real vibe about it.
I think the goal was always to exceed expectations.
And you've done the same with the accommodation, mate.
We've renovated 18 rooms now, boutique hotel rooms that are fitted out with a lot of thought and practical, beautiful and really enjoyable to stay in.
Tell me about Bermagui itself, mate. What's its charm for you?
It's just a town that packs a lot of punch. Lots of great cafes, terrific bakeries, a local butcher, the co-op down at the Fisherman's Wharf, beautiful spot. Yeah. And then all the hiking trails and the hinterlands around us. There's so much to explore.
So it's not just for fishos anymore. Bring the whole family, right?
Exactly. Everyone's welcome.
Can't think of a better place to put a pub like this. It's beautiful.
Find out more at bermaguibeachhotel.com.au. The ocean is still rough and unpredictable, so I've opted for an afternoon fishing the Bermagui River for ludrick, blackfish as they're more commonly known, with local fishing guides Darren and Jan Redmond. This fun-loving couple offer traditional ludrick fishing for visitors wanting to experience this old and skillful form of angling, which is slowly becoming a lost art. Time to chase some blackfish, also known as ludrick, and we've got a classic outfit, a centre pin reel. They're a vegetarian fish, so we have some weed under a float and we drop that back and watch the float for what's called a down, but slightly different technique than sitting on a rock wall here, mate. Over to you, Darren. Show me exactly what you do, mate.
It's quite simple. You can just drop your float beside the boat, keep your reel up with the pace of the water.
Yep.
Beauty about these centre pins, they just take line off. When the fish strikes or takes the float down, simple, hand on the reel, couple of lines and hopefully we're on.
And we're just letting that float go back with the current, keeping the weed near the bottom. And yeah, hopefully there's a school of fish here like there usually is.
Simple way of fishing.
Now you hear me say about fishing how good it is. It's something you can do for your whole life. Look at these two guys here, out on the Bermagui River, double hookup, healthy lifestyle, catching a fresh feed of fish. One of the best table fish you'll ever come across. And I don't know if life gets any better, hey guys?
No, definitely doesn't get better than this.
Not double hookups, and that's pretty good fish Jan's got on
Jan's
there.
got a nice one.
And that's the thing about this gear. You can enjoy the ride, Rob.
Yeah.
Just take your time. Like a trout on the end of a fly rod, it's just another form of fishing.
Just found that weed.
Oh, Greg blew it.
No, you were in my way. You got in the way, that's why.
Right, so we got Darren's. Jan actually had a bigger one on. I'm going to say that you sabotaged her, but what are you going to say, Jan?
Oh, he definitely sabotaged me.
It's
He
the
got in the
only-
way of me trying to get it off that weed.
I'm going to admit it's the only way to beat Jan Redmond is to sabotage, right?
Would I do something like that, Rob?
Ludrick have been known to take various baits, but float fishos mainly target them with green weed. But as Darren will tell you, not all weed is the same.
In amongst the weed is millions of little shellfish. You'd think they're a herbivore.
Yeah.
Blackfish are actually omnivore because they feed on other organisms too.
Yeah, right,
In
so-
the weed, they're after these little shellfish. They'll feed on nippers, they'll feed on prawns, and all sorts of molluscs and worms and stuff. So what you look for in your weed
Yep.
is a good healthy amount of little shellfish in amongst it.
Meanwhile, Jan's on. As predicted, the fresh green weed and mini escargot mix has done its job.
Got him.
Beautiful. Oh. They're all about the same
They're not too
size.
bad. They are, aren't they?
Of course, we'll check him before we keep him.
Definitely.
And it seems to be that it's fine to keep your bag limit. There's no shortage of them, right?
That's right.
Another secret to successful ludrick fishing is burley. Darren's been putting some of his special burley in there. It's a team effort. We're working around the boat together, netting fish together. But pound for pound, they are one of the hardest fighters. They keep that head down.
You can see they've got that herbivorous mouth there. You know, they graze, fine teeth on the front, and they pick at weed. Occasionally get them a nipper on a bait, but they're real vegetarians mostly, right?
You too can spend a fun day ludrick fishing with Darren and Jan. Book now at djs-extremefishingcharters.com. Today, we're exploring the Bermagui River, often overlooked for some of the other awesome estuaries on the Sapphire Coast. Local guide Darren Redman knows it intimately.
Love exploring, mate. You know, I know you've been up here a million times, and this is half the fun.
Oh, I never get sick of it.
I didn't realise the Bermagui River went up this far, mate.
Yeah, it goes up navigable for about 7-8 kilometres, especially on the high tides. Very pretty up here, some deep holes, nice flats, which we're heading to at the moment. See if we can get a fish over the shallow waters. These fish are grazing over the flats, so what we need to do is just put a bait out there, let it sit, and one of the best anglers I ever get to fish with is good old Rodney rod holder. Let him do the work for you and just sit back and relax.
I like it. Half decent flatty. It's a good flatty.
Yeah, he'll be over there around those rocks, Rob.
Oh, we got him. Beautiful. Oh, look at that boy. Hey?
Nice fish, he'll be pushing around 50 centimetres.
Be a good table size, wouldn't it?
They are good table size. Sadly, the duskies are being targeted pretty heavily these days with soft plastics. Beautiful. That's what we come up here for.
Oh, in a place like this, it's heaven. It's mad. The Bermagui River. Everyone heads straight out to the ocean, right?
An untapped jewel.
The ocean's rough, and you come up here to paradise.
The water today is amazing, and with the right sunnies on, it's crystal clear.
Another nice fish on here, and you can just see the fish swimming around so beautifully here. It's very important you have a pair of proper fishing eyewear, and the Aussie-made tonics are the best you can get. Doug Phillips is an absolute guru when it comes to making eyewear for Australian conditions, and it means I can see what fish I'm casting at. I can see the weed patches, so I can land my sinker in the weed, and most importantly, I can see the oyster reefs. So I'm not landing in a snaggy area where I'm going to lose my rig and have to be re-rigging all the time, and I'm donating gear to the environment, which is not good. So yeah, tonics, just legendary, and it helps you in these scenarios. That's just a sand mullet there. Proper eyewear out here, absolutely essential.
The fresh bait and burley brought on bite after bite, with each fish being uniquely different.
You fish 3 pound mainline, right, Darren?
Yeah, 3 pound mono. Got a little bit of give when fishing bait. When you're fishing lures, yeah, that's the better time to fish the braid.
I'll tell you what, for the amount of fish that we're catching here, you know, and it's fun to go flicking lures around, but you just can't beat bait fishing with fresh nippers. What are we doing?
When you're throwing some baits around like the nippers and these cut baits, it really becomes a box of chocolates. You just don't know what you're going to get next, Rob.
Beautiful here at the moment. I've got a nice bream on, and there's a stack of mullets swimming with him, looking for a free feed. The golden rule is here is to let him come to the net. Oh, look at that. That's a nice bream, Darren.
Yeah, solid yellowfin bream.
Oh, beautiful stuff.
We get quite a few different species of bream in this area.
Beautiful fish. Healthy.
And I think he's about perfect size for your dinner tonight.
Yum.
Speaking of tucker, this one is delicious on the plate.
That's a good
Spice of
flounder,
life.
Oh, I better get the net. What am I doing? Daydreaming. Here we go. Well, we're getting close to getting dinner, mate. Flounder, they don't get massive in this part of the world, but...
Actually, we do get some very nice fish down here.
Yeah, much bigger than this?
A lot bigger than that.
Yeah, right, okay, yeah.
And used to be very popular back in the 70s at the restaurants, flounder. They've sort of lost their popularity, but they definitely haven't lost their eating quality. So magnificent.
They're great table fish, one of my favourites.
Once the burley starts working, anything is possible.
Hey Rob, probably one of the most unique catches I've ever got in this area on a nipper was a long time in the Churros River. And guess what we've got on here? It's going around the boat, and it's a pretty serious fish. We've got the tropics come to meet us. I'm used to catching these up in Weeper in far north Queensland, Rob.
Oh, look at his teeth. Look at that. Wait. You bring him. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. He's not going to fit in it. You need a bigger net, mate. Righto, we got him. Bent him in. Oh, mate, have a look at the set of teeth on that guy. Nice. Yeah, you'd have to be Einstein to work out where they get their name from, but look, wow. It's like a garfish on steroids, mate. Yeah, it's not a bad one either.
These are an infrequent visitor. Usually warm currents, which we've had out offshore this year.
Yeah.
There's been quite a lot of them.
Watch his teeth. Prehistoric looking fish, hey?
What a day. Beautiful scenery, great company, and countless fish. Try it for yourself. Contact Darren or Jan at djs-extremefishingcharters.com. Bermagui is a fishing town through and through, and though the estuaries and beaches fish well, with the continental shelf just 20k offshore, Bermagui's fame was founded on its offshore fishing. The professional fishing industry is just as important to the town as the recreational fishing. Local professional trap fisherman Jason Moyce also loves recreational fishing with his daughter Indy. Jason has an alter ego online. Trapman, as he's known, is a huge hit on Facebook. His online notoriety comes from his adventures on the ocean. Venturing out to sea from Bermagui at least 200 days a year, Trapman is licensed to trap fish and lobster.
So these guys are out on the shelf sometimes, right?
They are. They're just coming back into the shallows now, so...
10 mile out, and they migrate in. That's where your fresh lobster comes from, Eastern Rock lobster. And these are probably the tastiest lobster you'll ever have.
Eastern Rock lobster is a heavily quoted lobster.
Yep.
Commercial fishermen. There's not too many people that have Eastern Rock lobster quota.
Yeah, righto. So it's a carefully managed fishery?
Very carefully. It's been going since 2003, I think.
Yep.
And yeah, lobster exploded the population. They've even put the bag limits for recreational up this year because the population's going really well.
Well, you're keeping it sustainable. That's awesome.
Yep.
Quotas govern how many lobsters Trapman can take, with every lobster being registered by tag immediately after capture. Fish caught in Jason's traps are also controlled by quotas and rules of what he can and cannot take. This and the proper treatment of bycatch is vitally important to this fishery.
Snapper, leather jackets. There's a red mullum there, sweet. Decent snapper, that one.
Yeah, nice. Okay, cool.
I've got an undersized one here, and the joy of trapping, you can just throw them back in the water and they just swim away straight away, just like that.
So if you catch an undersized or an unwanted or protected fish, back it goes?
Back it goes, and they just swim away straight away, so.
You've been doing this 2 generations now. You want to keep it sustainable, right?
Yes, that's right, that's right. And the trap's designed so the whole back of the trap is actually an escape panel. You can see the bigger mesh in the back.
Yep.
So most of your undersized fish will go through that.
Yep.
And the traps only target a few species. You won't catch flathead, stuff like that in them.
Yeah. So the bycatch comes out first while it's nice and lively, straight back in the drink,
Yep.
Great chance of survival. That's great.
You keep all the good stuff, obviously.
Do you ever get any big trophy snapper in the trap?
No, we got fairly small entrances.
Yep.
So we target more the medium snapper, the small.
Yeah, okay.
And the big thumper snapper we don't get. If we had the entrances any bigger, we get a lot of problems with seals,
Yeah,
damaging the traps. So
Oh, it also stops the big breeding snapper.
yeah, we
going as well.
don't get them. We don't get big breeding snapper at all. So
You want to look after the breeders too, mate.
well, that's right, exactly right. So.
Now, as I said, Trapman is very popular online, essentially because he enlightens his audience with some of the incredible things he sees while he's offshore.
200 days a year on the ocean for the last 40 odd years. I've seen some crazy stuff. A lot of stuff I wish I had a camera back in the day, but I'm getting some good footage these days.
Yeah, your social pages, your Facebook page is amazing. So, big sharks,
Lots of big sharks, tigers, whites, makos, you name it.
a lot of great whites.
A lot of great whites. Yeah, the last 5 to 10 years, the population definitely exploded
You ever send a camera down with a trap?
all the time. Yeah, it's one of my favourite things to do. It's like an aquarium, it's amazing.
What's the single most amazing thing you've seen?
Killer whales are pretty cool. Our mako, they got bit.
Your famous big shark.
The big mako, yeah, that was pretty unusual and different. I mean, the head was over 100 kilos at its length, so...
The head was over 100
Yeah,
kilos.
it was a pretty big mako. Yeah.
Oh, what do you reckon ate that?
I'm thinking tiger, but we'll just never know, will we?
Amazing. Oh, it's good fun you have out here, mate.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I'm very lucky.
You can search for Trapman on Facebook to keep up with the latest in his amazing world. If it's Bermagui you're after, find out more about this unspoilt coastal haven at sapphirecoast.com.au. Fishing is incredible, and of course, there's so much more to discover.